Welcome to Open Discussion. How you guys doing tonight? I hope everyone is doing wonderful. All right, all right. Josie Beth, how you doing? Thank you for being here. I have tonight gonna be a special night because I have two special guests tonight, and they're basically gonna talk about their garden journey, which is very interesting. So I just want you guys. All right, let me get the I just want you guys to enjoy yourself tonight, and because we all need to hear these messages, and I'm just excited that they take the time out to come out and share the message. So I deeply appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm going and bring April on stage now. So we're just gonna go ahead with it. And we also have Joshi Bed as well. Both of them gonna share. Joshi Bed says she's gonna only be here for a short time, so that's fine. All right, so I'm gonna introduce. All right, how you doing? Thank you for being here. How you doing?
Hello, hi, doing
Wait,
great. I'm not gonna complain.
I'm not. Wait, hold on. I'm not hearing you. So give me a second, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna check my
All right.
volume.
Give me 1 second.
No problem.
All right. Would you? Okay, wait. All these.
good, but the other person didn't have one. Got the car.
All right, guys, I'm here. I'm here. I don't know what's going on, but I wasn't hearing. So, hi, Miss April. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi,
Can you
Josie
hear
Bell.
me
How you
now?
guys doing?
Can you hear me now?
I'm so excited to see you guys. I'm so excited to see you guys.
Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
So, Joshibel, I know you're not gonna be here for too long, so you can take the floor for now, and then Miss April, you're gonna take it. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, all
works for
right.
me.
So yes, guys, just introduce yourself and your story. It will be, I mean, your message is touching because it touched me. And I know it will touch a lot of people. And we're just trying to encourage people to try to eat properly, the right food, and also try to grow your food yourself instead of buying a lot of stuff we don't know about. So I'm gonna just leave the floor with you guys and take it.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? You can? Okay. So thanks for having me. Nice to meet you, April. I'm Jochebed. I think you wanted me to tell my story about how I got into gardening, right? Am I right, Pencil? Well, so I wasn't really, I really wanted time and more like intimacy, more time with my husband. And I was complaining about date nights. And he just wanted to be outside in the garden, wanted to just always be outside doing something else. And I'm complaining about date night. So I decided to immerse myself into his world. I mean, before it would be like he's out there working and I'd run outside, bring him something to drink and run back in the house. But he started saying like everything we do is intimate. Everything we do is like a date night. So I should, try to be more. So I tried. And that's kind of how I got into it. Like I really wanted more time with him. And even then, I was still kind of like, ew, soil, compost, what? No, gross. Because I'm more like, let's get dressed, let's go dancing, let's be fancy, red bottoms. But then I realized that it made him happy. It brought us closer together, and it was kind of easy. I'm not very good at like growing vegetables. Yeah, I'm better at flowers and herbs and things of that nature. I got into beekeeping, and that's something that we kind of do together as well. And I started planting like a pollination garden for them. I still help with like the vegetables that he plants. He plants a lot of fruit trees and vegetables that I like. So, I go out there and I'm with him and we're building like a garden bed right now. So it's like it's a whole new world. It's just very different. It's very addicting. It's so many things to learn. It's a whole new culture. Gardeners and people that grow things are so nice. They want to give you stuff. They want to tell you stuff. They want to help you to get more into it. They're so excited when they find out that you're into it. So it's a whole new world. It's very rewarding. It's relaxing. Growing something and then going and picking it from the tree is like something. It's a different type of richness. You know what I mean? It's different than going to the grocery store and buying it. Like now going outside and grabbing some eggs or picking like green onions or jalapeno. I made some jalapeno poppers last night from the tree. Oh, they were so good. But yeah, just going and picking them off the tree, and then it's something that's like, it's so different. It's so rewarding. So that's kind of my story. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's definitely amazing because I really believe, a lot of people really believe they cannot do it. But, to hear you guys speak, I mean, it make people wanna, it can help people to
Mhm.
really understand that it's not as complicated as it may seem. All
No.
right, so Miss April Soto, how you doing? Welcome to the stage.
I'm great. I'm not dare gonna complain. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Jock Bet. I feel like we've been on some platforms before. So it's
Probably.
nice to put a face and meet you in person. Kind of cool. My story, try to make it as short as possible because I'm a long-winded kind of person. I am a two-time cancer survivor, and I feel like that first time was enough. So that second time was just like a punch in the face, and like you gonna get it together or you gonna lay down forever.
Mm.
So for me, it was the motivation of my health. And I have six beautiful children. So I need to be here for them. And my cancer that I had was not hereditary. So I'm not getting this from my family members. It doesn't run in my family. It's so for my own natural deduction and reasoning, it's something I'm putting in my body. And throughout my journey, doctors, when I think about anybody, I make connections. I love making connections. And these doctors that are talking to me weren't feeling like a genuine connection. And I really would reflect when I come home, and it was like they were at work and they're talking to a potential client. You're a patient, but they're there to get paid so that they can pay their yacht bill. So I didn't feel the compassion in a lot of the doctors, and I really had to be more intentional about what I put in my body. I was an avid cherry Coke drinker. That changed. I haven't had cherry Coke in 3 years. But I really started once I was able to heal from the last surgery that I had. My intention before I went into the hospital was we need our own land and I need to grow my own food. We're a military family, so when you're on a military base, they have a lot of rules. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't have this in your yard. So my intention was we need our own space. And when I get out of this hospital, I need to be going to my house and I need to be able to put stuff in the ground. Little I know we were gonna have gophers that weren't gonna let me put stuff in the ground as of yet. But I'm growing above ground. So that's working out. You know, we got quite a few things going. But my journey was one from I had to just have a slap in the face from reality that it's stuff that we're putting in our bodies, and these people that put the products out here do not care. And I care about me and I care about my children. And I'm also very passionate about teaching other children, not just my own. I was a preschool teacher before my last bout, teaching other children to nurture the planet and learn how to grow their own food. Because if we don't teach these children and create the foundation, they think everything is at the store. And in actuality, people stop growing in their yards to look affluent, to have this view in society like, hey, I'm not poor and I'm going to show everyone I'm not poor. I'm not going to grow my food. And I can care less people think. You can think I'm poor. Matter of fact, I want you to think I'm poor. That's fine. I'm growing my food as much as I can because I know what's in my food and I don't have to question. So that's me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yes, when I honestly when I listen to you guys, it's really touched me because a lot of people really need to hear these message because I'm a person who really promote healthy living and healthy eating a lot. So hearing you guys speak really touched me. I appreciate you guys for real.
Yeah. But thank you
Yeah.
for creating the space and you know, and just pushing your message that eating what you grow makes such a big difference. And it's interesting because it's like you said, it's not as complicated as as it's not as it's complicated in a way if you're not familiar with it and if your lifestyle was very different than than like growing things in your backyard. But it's so much, it's so rewarding. It's easy to learn. And like, I live in Florida, so it's complicated because we have sand, but even that process is not so bad. So now we have cows, and now we're getting the manure, and we're doing our compost, and I'm learning about that. And I swear I learn something every single day. And there's always someone who's impressed by what I'm learning. And I don't know if it's the where I'm coming from. Like, what I do was so much different than what I'm doing now. And then the type of people who want to listen, and they're like, oh look, they send me pictures, or they post something, look what I have grown in my kitchen or whatever. And I'm like, wow, people actually want to learn. It's just they never really had the space before, or never really had the interest before, and never thought that they could do it. So if I post something, or if I say something, like my husband, he wants to do, like, we're doing like a farm business. So I post things about what he's doing, and then people are like, oh look, I started doing this. Or so it's just very interesting. It's nothing like I've, and in the medical field myself, so it's very different than what we prescribe and what we use to manage people's conditions. Like growing in the backyard, going in the backyard and picking something and boiling it and drinking it, or you know what I mean? It's just very different than you have to go to the pharmacy and you don't know if the 50 million toxins that are in your medication or whatever. So it's just very rewarding. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it surely is. It surely is. It surely is rewarding because I've been eating my own food for a long time, and I've been feeling pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You feeling strong. You feeling, you just feeling good eating your own food. Sometimes I just go and walk in the garden and just pick the food and straight in the pot.
Mhm.
It's amazing. So, Miss April, I really appreciate your story as well, man. And the part where you talk about the cherry coke, that you had us to leave it alone. Yeah, because I know a lot of people addicted to drinking soda, coke. And you get to the realization where I gotta leave it alone. That's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a powerful story, April.
Absolutely. I feel like they did that on purpose. They used to put cocaine in the Coke. So they want you to
Ooh.
be addicted. And that's definitely what was happening, was that I felt like, oh, I didn't have my Coke today. And that's ridiculous. I wasn't worried about what kind of vegetables and what my diet was looking like. I'm worried about I didn't have my Coke today. That's why I feel off. And that had to change.
Yeah.
Well, at least you realize it
Yeah.
and you
So
change it.
yeah, I realized that as much as I was craving that Coke and I liked the way that taste and that sugar rush that I made me feel great is what I was registering in my brain. I appreciate not having cancer more. So I was
Exactly.
just like, nah,
Exactly.
eh, we'll
Yeah.
go with cancer free.
Yeah.
That's really amazing that you did what you got to do to overcome it. Some people ain't that strong. I see there's people who have diabetes and their feet is swollen and they're still eating pizza. You know what I'm saying? So to able to conquer it and say, no, I'm not doing it, it's a blessing. Yeah.
I think that's where it comes in with that building that foundation for our children, because I've spoke to you before that it's a blessing that you had this foundation. None of my family members were growing their food. I remember a great grandmother that had chickens, But I don't remember having someone teaching me how to cultivate the earth and create a compost and use my chickens and my ducks in my garden. I had to learn all that. I had to go to YouTube University, which I'm grateful for. But I
Yeah.
didn't have someone to teach me. But if we build this solid foundation for these children and normalize it, then they'll think. I was so proud. My daughter said, Mom, that was such a good honeydew melon. I saved you my seeds. Can we plant it? And I was so proud.
Aw. Aw.
Mm.
Like,
That's
absolutely,
awesome.
we can plant it. Instead of
Yeah.
we need to go to the store and buy another one.
Right, right. That's awesome. Aw.
That's good. That's a good way to think.
Yeah.
Definitely. So Joshibed, I mean, you have transformed yourself as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you have transformed yourself, and that's amazing.
Yeah. I don't get my nails done anymore. Now they look like these days I'm like, wait a minute, like they're in the garden. Sometimes I forget to put gloves on and I'm just in there, just like that was not me before. I still go to the gym, but not as much. Like my spare time would be gym, hair done, nails done, massage, whatever. That used to brunch. But now I'm just like, okay, what am I gonna plant tomorrow? Like I'm laying there instead of planning the
Wow.
next brunch or the next tea party or whatever. I'm like, okay, what can I plant? What else can I? Or I'll just walk to the garden and I just start weeding. And weeding is something like it's therapeutic. Like pulling up those weeds, there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about pulling up those weeds. And I know put the weed barrier down and yeah. But there's something about just pulling on those is very therapeutic. So yeah, a whole new transformation. Now, now my husband is in the we've been in the back cutting up some like these big jars, these big IPC, whatever, totes, whatever he calls them, because he wants to do fish farming. So now we're going to raise fish.
Oh
And we're going to
wow.
do the whole, yeah. So it's a whole new venture that we're doing. So I have to do more,
Ooh.
like you said, April, YouTube University. Yeah. I'm going to go to YouTube University so I can figure out aquaponics and hydroponics and all this other stuff. Yeah. So, very
Mhm.
fascinating. So I definitely won't be getting nails and any of that stuff. Do you see my hair?
It sounds
See how
fun
it
to me.
is? This is the new me, right? No makeup, no nothing. Just that's it.
We're not gonna get on it. Yeah, no,
Right.
no. But I think that it's important to get back to the simpler things. It's
Mhm.
simpler than that.
Yeah.
So do we have to have it? And what could it possibly be doing to our pores? And especially the nail shop,
Yeah. Yeah. Just the smell
I'm okay
alone.
with it because I used to,
Mhm.
but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I don't miss
But
it.
I'm okay with it. But I think it's one of those things you feel like that people. I was raised in Houston, Texas. Especially women, we're raised to be people pleasers. I struggle with, you know, that wait a minute. When I'm in pain all by myself. Those people aren't there
Mhm.
feeling with me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do what resonates with me.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Like you said, sometimes you pass in by the nail shop and when they open, like someone opened the door at the same time, and the scent.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't understand how people sit down and inhale that scent for so long. That I believe it could be harmful in some kind of ways.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I agree. I agree. Have you noticed
But then your nails look so pretty.
It's worth it, right? Beauty is pain. That's what I said.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Because then now when I go out in the garden, there's all this dirt under my nails and I'm breaking nails
Girl.
left and right. But
Girl. I have to cut them all the way down And I like I said, I forget the gloves.
Yes, I love that.
But your jalapeno poppers
Was on point. Mm-hmm. Yep.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm so, I'm so happy that, you guys able to share your story. It's amazing. I ain't gonna lie. When I sit down and I listen you guys conversate and you guys talk about gardening, because I really love gardening, it's like a part of me. I have to plant something. I have to plant something. It's so I understand the passion that you guys have, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people in the chat, most of the people in the chat is gardening as well. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. Yes, almost everybody in the chat is gardeners.
Oh.
So if you guys have any channel or anything, you guys can. If you have an Instagram, if you have a YouTube, you could share it.
Okay.
Yes, almost everybody in the chat right now is gardeners
Gardeners.
and trying to plant their own food, trying to eat healthy. So, this is what we try to promote, healthy
Yeah.
living. And we know to ourselves there's a lot of food out there that can heal our body,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of food out there that can also destroy our body.
Yeah.
So we the one got to make that choice of
Mm-hmm.
whether we want to destroy our body or eat healthy. Because a lot of people has overcome a lot of disease. And
Yeah,
what
like
you do,
April. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, like
Mhm.
April. And what you do, eating
Change your
healthy,
yeah.
change your diet. So
Mm.
sometimes these are things we got to do.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you guys. I mean, you guys are amazing.
Thank you. We appreciate what you do too.
Yes.
You
exactly.
Yes.
think there's yeah. So even if it's not like even outside of us doing it because we can, because we have the opportunity, because we want to combat illness or whatever, do you guys really, I keep hearing this impending food shortage or whatever. I think it's important that we, learn to grow things just in case there is a food shortage for real or whatever. You know what I mean? You never know. They keep threatening. There's always something. It's always lurking. The danger of we're gonna run out of stuff. And sometimes you can see it in the grocery store. Like when you go in, you're like, there's a whole aisle of stuff missing or whatever. So I think that's another good reason to start gardening, like out of survival, because you never know. Like when the grocery store shut down, what are you gonna do if you don't know how to grow your own food? And sometimes it's not even hard. The stuff will start sprouting if you leave it long enough in the refrigerator. Sometimes you can just go and put it right in the ground. So I think it's important that and you
Absolutely.
know what I noticed? Like you don't need a lot of space. You do not need a lot of space. You can do things in grow bags. You can do like what is it? Vertical gardening
Hmm.
where you can
Hmm.
grow that way. Like there's so many different ways. And even
I
if you
have
can't,
trellis. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so you see, you don't need a lot of space, but even if you have space and you want to do something else, you can too. But some people that live in urban areas, you want to do like you have an apartment, you have a balcony or a porch or whatever, you can do things there. You don't need. People think I think initially people think, well, if I'm going to garden, I need like a lot of land. You don't always have to have a lot of land. You may have to go this way, which might not be a bad choice. So.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like currently, our foundation, we're coming from being a military family, moving often. And so sometimes we make up in our minds and put these parameters that are not so, and then you need someone to say or put a little voice in your ear that that's not true. You can, and I feel like anybody can garden. And like you said, nature will take its course and take care of it for you. Yeah, I've seen stuff growing through cracks in the concrete. You really don't have to do much. Just plant the seed and nature will handle it. Denzel, he's over here boasting. He doesn't even have to water his garden. We're in a drought, no rain. I got to water. People got all kinds of ordinances and stuff. We got issues with water in California. But I mean, nature will take its course. I've got trees out here, that avocado trees that are bigger than my house, that I'm not watering them. Like, I'm not watering them all the time. Nature's taking care of it. So it's a lot. And I feel like having the platform or letting people know and giving them almost like that permission to say, you don't need all that space. You don't need a brand new fancy smancy garden bed that you see on Instagram. You literally don't even have to have the grow bag. You can take any kind of bag. I saw a man on YouTube with an IKEA bag. You can grow in anything. What do you need? You need dirt. You need some light and some water.
And some things will grow in water.
That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it. Exactly. You probably don't even need exactly. It's stuff that you don't really have to have. So sometimes those are just parameters that we're putting up for ourselves, really obstacles. Like I listen in my military community and people are like, when I get a house, that's my dream when I get a house. Girl, you don't need a house.
You don't need a house.
If you can grow in Brooklyn, you don't need a house to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it shines on everyone. Because I got my house because I was guilty of that. I got my house. The Gophers own this land out here. I got garden beds on top because they are disrespectful and they just take my stuff. We can't even coexist. They just take. So yeah, you don't need all of those things. And I think it needs to be a conversation and having platforms like this to say, all that stuff, throw that out the window. You don't need all that stuff. As soon as you think you need it, it's somebody out there showing you don't.
You don't.
You don't need, no, you don't.
Yeah. And what you don't know, you can find
nature will take care of it.
Absolutely. If you don't know something, you'll find it online.
Exactly.
You might even find a group local to you that's doing the same thing or want to do the same thing you're doing. They can give you information. You can give them information. You might have peppers. They may have bananas or whatever. And you're better at growing peppers. They're better at growing radishes. You can exchange. I just found out not too long ago about Farm Swap. And I was so naive to it, right? Like I'm like, okay, so we're just going to swap our stuff. And my husband's like, no, you got to pay for stuff, right? But those are things that you can do too. You can bring your goods to a farm swap. You can get goods from other farmers. You can get seedlings, things that you can discuss. Like in my area, the grass or the hay is not growing. And then someone will come and say, oh yeah, I did this, and this, and this. And you'll get all kinds of information. People just want to tell you, oh yeah, my grandfather did this and my grandmother did this. This is what you should try. You know what I noticed too? Sorry, I keep talking, but you know what I noticed? Like a lot of older people who want to get out of farming and their kids are like, they don't want to get into farming, but they want people to share the stuff with. As soon as they know you're interested, they'll just start giving you stuff and telling you stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, you want to adopt a grown person to teach them how to farm? Okay, so there's plenty of information and plenty of people that are willing to try to help you if you're interested, because farming is very different. It's one of those things that you put something in the ground. Well, first of all, you should know your zone. You know what I mean? That's very important. But you put something in the ground that will grow in your area. Sometimes a few days later, you go out there and there's a tiny little thing that's sprouting out the ground. It's something else just to see it and you watch it. Maybe it's just me. I go out there and I stalk my plants. I'll go out there like an hour later to see if it grew a little more, but of course it don't. But but it's just like it's so rewarding. It's like so cool, and it's just I'll stop talking now.
No, you do it good.
I think the added bonus is the therapeutic aspect. That's the added, but like that's just the gimme. Like, oh, this made me feel really good. And I was going out there with the intention of I need to improve my health because I've got this one body that's got to last me. So I need to take care of it. But then this garden that I feel like I'm gonna have to be so laborsome, just nurturing, is nurturing me as well. Yeah. And that was a nice surprise. So if you don't find me in the house, I'm in the garden. That they know. The kids know. Oh, she's outside. In the garden.
Yeah. I don't watch TV that much anymore. I used to be like I come home from work. I have a very stressful job. Come home from work, sit in front of the TV, or make dinner, and that would be my decompression thing. Is TV. I don't even watch TV anymore. Listen, when I'm still in my work clothes because I was out there in the garden. So I come home from work, I take my heels off, and I march to the garden. Sometimes I do wear the heels to the garden. Don't tell nobody. But I'll go out there, and I'll be out there for a while, So talk about therapeutic, as you say, April. It is something like I'm sitting there at work like, okay, what should I plant today? Or my husband says I can't buy any more plants, but if I buy seeds, will he know? You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. But, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Thanks.
Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I think I've spent budget.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. You guys, for honestly, it's amazing. It's really amazing to me, because I know how I feel about gardening. I don't just do gardening just to eat. I get a lot of different benefit from gardening, with not just by eating it. I don't know for anyone, but within my garden, there's a certain energy in that garden that make me feel a certain way that I don't feel no other place. So like I always tell people, like bring nature into your garden because sometimes the birds, you got to attract the birds in your garden. You got to create space for the bird to land in your garden and be in your garden. Because the bird itself also help clean your garden.
Pollinate.
Sometimes you have a lot of insect that you don't need in your garden, and the birds will clean your garden for you. So I always try to tell people, bring nature, invite nature into your garden, because when you do that, there's a energy inside that garden that I don't feel it nowhere. So I don't know for other people, but for me, it's a special place, not just to eat, but a place for where I find myself at peace.
Yeah, that does make sense. I do like seeing the wildlife in the garden too, like the bumblebees and the caterpillars and the ladybugs, and because I'm like, oh, you're doing what you're supposed to do, pollinate and eat the aphids and eat the mosquito larvae. Like I have my garden, like it's right in front of the water, so I see like the dragonflies and they're eating this, and So it's like, yeah, it does make a difference. Like the hummingbirds, and they pollinate here, and so you help them, like you said, create a space for them, and they'll help your garden because um, 1/3 of the food we eat, because we can plant the stuff, but if we can't get some plants, they don't self pollinate, as we know. I
Mhm.
learned this a few months ago. Some plants don't pollinate, self pollinate, so then they need pollinators like butterflies or ladybugs or hummingbirds or even bats, and honeybees, and all the different types of bees. So 1/3 of the food we eat, or 1/3 of every bite of food we eat, is because of the pollinators, because they'll come in there, they'll take this pollen to this plant, and this plant will then start to, blossom and start growing for you. So it's like, okay, so they're helping you, so it's best to help them, whether you leave a little water out for them. Like for my
Mhm.
hummingbirds, I make sugar water for them, and they're there, and I see them go back and forth to the different fruit trees, and it's like, okay. um, and there's something about it too, about the gardening, like you, I feel like I'm giving back to nature. You know what I mean? Like nature gives us so much, and in the last few years, we've destroyed so much of wildlife and our like trees and parks and our just like land for these wildlife to live in. So whatever you do to give back, I think it makes such a big difference in like restoring like certain homes for these little birds or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's an added piece of thing for me. I'm like, okay, I feel like there's a sense of purpose with it. Like I have my garden, but I'm also giving back, not just for me, because your garden, it benefits you, it benefits your family, and maybe your future generations if they continue. But like giving back to the wild, like nature, there's something about it. Like I see a hummingbird come up, and they, like it just makes me feel like I'm doing something good. Like I'm giving back to nature. I'm giving back to something that's bigger than myself. That's not going to benefit me right now. It's not going to buy me a pair of shoes or whatever. But it's just like this is giving back to nature, and they give. It's like a circle. They give back to you, give to them, and they give back to you. So there's also that added piece for me anyway. So
I definitely enjoy that sense of harmony and being able to just observe it. So I can see my garden right out of my bedroom window, and I stalk it often. So I definitely see quite a few hummingbirds. I've noticed a lot of different birds that I hadn't before I started really cultivating my garden. So I feel exactly what you're saying, Jacobin. Like I'm giving back to them because they weren't here. And where I am, it's almost straight desert looking. Like, we got
wow,
some fruit trees that grow, like avocado trees are plentiful, and citrus trees, but in between that there's no grass, there's nothing but dirt.
wow,
So yeah, and when it does rain we'll get a lot of different like weeds and clover and stuff, but as soon as that sun comes out, that's it. All of that stuff, poof, is gone. So it's nothing but dirt. So I'm out here cultivating the earth. Now I see all these birds in the, oh, maybe it's from my ducks, but the squirrels have never had a beautiful coat like they adorn now. Maybe it's my organic feed that I'm giving the ducks as well as the squirrels. I don't know. But either way, I'm definitely giving back. So I feel that.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. The animal is very important as well in the garden. And yes, sometimes there's a lot of insect that really could destroy your plants. Like especially when you're talking about your edibles. Your edibles, oh man, the cabbage worm, they will eat down your whole garden if you allow them to. Eat down your edibles. But the bird sometimes, I try to do. things natural.
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay away from all them chemical and
Chemicals.
stuff in my garden.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, my garden become a place of natural, like kind of natural, chemical free.
Yeah.
And I realize anything I chuck in the soil, and I had create a soil that anything I chuck in that soil grows. Nothing die. Anything I chuck in that soil grows and produce so much. Like now I have pepper tree heading for 7 feet tall, and now start to push peppers. Yeah, over
Wow.
6 feet heading 7 feet tall. With so what I realize as well, I realize a lot of people, if they're not using fertilizer and these chemical, they don't feel like they're doing gardening. Once they're not using chemical, they don't feel like they're doing gardening.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think people just gotta try and make their own compost a natural way and try to grow your food as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
Just try. I know not everybody have the resources, but just try.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And I think try and give yourself grace. Like if you try and the plant die, don't beat yourself up
Right.
because, don't let that deter you because sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's not what you do. Sometimes it is what you do, but, you know, sometimes that's how you're going to learn. So if you do something and the plant doesn't make it for whatever, you're watering it, over watering, not enough water, too much sunlight, not enough sunlight, or the chemicals or the aphids. Hey, you need me? Sorry. Sorry about that. If so give yourself some grace. Like, do some research. Like, we can access information, whatever. Or sometimes it's just a phone call
Mhm.
away. It's like, hey, I have this. It looks like this. I did this, and now this. You know what I mean? And then you can even gauge what you did wrong too. So then give yourself grace, do some research, and then try again, or try with something else, or try a different method. Sometimes if you're having to pour water on something, that might be too much. Some plants don't like to sit in water. Sometimes it's better with a little drip system. So give yourself some grace. Don't stop because your tomato plant died or whatever. Or if you buy your stuff at, like, say, a store or a nursery or Home Depot or wherever, and it doesn't make it, sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's the source. So be considerate of these things. If you get your seeds from overseas or whatever and it doesn't grow, try different seeds. Like, try different things. Don't stop. I think that for me, I was trying to grow radishes at first. I put them in the ground, nothing happened, and I'm like, this vegetable stuff is not for me. And I didn't garden for like forever. And then I did flowers, and within like days it came up, and I'm like, okay, so I'm okay. My thumb is not black or brown or whatever, you know what I mean? So give yourself some grace, try different things. Maybe like different types of gardening might be better for you. And be considerate, like, nature has a way of taking care of things. So they may recommend like these natural remedies for pests. Diatomaceous earth is one of those that they throw around. But you can go get some ladybugs. You can buy those from the store. You can release them in your garden, and they may eat the aphids. You can do companion gardening. There's so many things you can do that you don't have to touch chemicals at all. So before you reach for that fertilizer or whatever, or different chemicals that say natural on them, it's a chemical. So how natural can it be, right? It's processed somehow.
Hmm.
You go and you try to buy, like, the hierarchy of life. You know what I mean? Like, ladybugs eat this eat this eat that, and you can use those instead. You know what I mean? I released, like, I don't know how many ladybugs in my garden like a few months ago because I had aphids, and they flew away. So I was kind of bummed, but guess what? I went back, there were no aphids on my, you know what I mean? So, and of course the ladybugs for like 1,500 of them was like $12. I don't know how much is a thing of diatomaceous earth, but you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's worth it. Plus the ladybugs pollinate, so hey.
And the ladybugs don't cause like breathing problems and mess up your lungs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm,
Right?
right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So give yourself grace. Try as natural as you can. Do your research as to what likes, whatever pest you have, what likes this, what eats this that may be good for, maybe beneficial to me as well. You know, ask, and some of your like your tractor supply people, your different wherever you get your stuff from, sometimes they're very knowledgeable and they'll tell you too if you ask. So, you know, so give yourself grace, learn how to get rid of pests naturally in the beneficial way, and keep trying. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I like how you say you get the bugs. I hear somebody say that before, but I never do it. Like they bring certain bugs in their garden
Mm-hmm.
to clear with certain things. And I mean, like what April said, they don't
Yeah,
damage your lungs.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I see, and something I saw as well. People spraying their garden with chemical, and they don't even have a mask on the face, and they just spraying.
And it's on
You,
their
you know,
hands, and they touch their eyes. Yeah.
yes, we got to be more careful, and this is what I'm saying. It's best you, as you said, do your research and try to find things that can help your garden naturally. A lot of these things, you know what? A lot of these things, this is organic, but people don't read the fine prints.
Mm-hmm.
How much percent organic is it?
Right.
You
And
go into the
arsenic is organic. A lot of things are organic, but they're toxic for you. So organic doesn't
exactly,
mean good.
exactly. So this is why I do not use nothing in my garden because I understand nature as well. We killing out the bees with these chemicals. We need the bees.
Yeah.
We killing out the butterfly. We
Mm-hmm.
need the butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, like you were saying, they are pollinators.
Mm-hmm.
Certain plant does not pollinate themselves, and by the
Right.
bees passing around
Mm-hmm.
help pollinate the plant. That's how we get food to eat.
Yep.
Food to eat. So killing them out is definitely not the right thing.
It's not.
And try to garden without these chemical.
Mhm.
Yeah. And think about like some of the things I heard someone say the other day that they want to get rid of all the mosquitoes. So they're gonna have someone come and spray. And I'm just like, oh my poor bee, like if I was in that neighborhood, my bee that would affect my bees too. So like other things that you're doing is affecting nature and how things naturally, like the natural equilibrium of things, or so but people are just like, well, I just don't want I don't want this, so not thinking that what your little not selfish, but I don't know what the right word to use, because it's a pest to you, so you should eradicate everything, but you're shifting how nature operates. And it's like, well, that's why we don't have certain species of things anymore, like the monarch butterfly. They are, and even honeybees and solitary bees. Oh my goodness. Solitary bees are so, like, they're so at risk right now for extinction, because we're spraying and we're cutting down trees, and they don't have homes, and it's like, but they pollinate at such a high rate that, listen, if we lose them, some of the things that don't pollinate on their own, like, we'll have to, how some people have to self-pollinate their plant, or not self-pollinate, but actually pollinate. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, I saw a video on it and I was watching it, and it was like was it a dragon fruit or some kind of whatever thing that only bears at night only like comes open at night. So she's
Mhm.
there waiting, sitting up waiting for the thing to open and nodding off. And then she had her gloves, and then she's like getting whatever she's getting, and I'm like, and that's one plant, right? Can you imagine having to pollinate because you destroyed all the natural pollinators? And you know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
I don't want to have to do that. Like, you better help the butterflies do the thing that they exist to do. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, we got to be mindful of things that, well, I don't like this, so let's get rid of them. I don't like bats, so let's get rid of them. It's like, oh, they killed the mosquitoes. Like, you don't want, like, instead of spraying the mosquitoes, get you some bat houses, put it on your property, and see how fast the mosquito population goes down. And they pollinate too. So, two birds, one stone.
Yep. That's amazing. Thank you. I mean, this is the thing, we learn from each other. We learn from each other because, I mean, you sharing some information tonight, which I'm learning myself. So I appreciate you guys. April, I appreciate you as well. I appreciate hello everyone in the chat. How you
Keep
guys
forgetting
doing?
the chat. Like, I'm
Thank
not
you
used to
guys for being here. Appreciate you guys.
biodiversity. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is gardeners. Everybody try to grow their food healthy, and some of them is container gardening, some in ground, some raised bed. So we just try to encourage each other to basically grow some food.
Yeah. Eat what you
So
grow.
eat right, yeah, eat what you grow. I'm promoting that very strong.
Yeah.
I do on that show. I do have a few people that's come at me like because I'm talking about promoting
Yeah.
natural growing,
Mm-hmm.
and when they come with oh, but you could use these or and do the same thing. I'm saying no, they're not doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we do get, but my thing is use what you got. Try to, because not everyone have access to certain things. So use what you got. But at
Yeah.
the same time, try to do it as natural as possible. I think your fruits and your vegetables taste a lot better growing them natural.
Right. Right. And you still run the risk
Absolutely.
of um adding toxins, and then you know what I mean, you consuming it too. So then some things can still be um carcinogenic because of what you put in it. Even if you're growing your stuff, but you're using all these chemicals, you still can induce, you know what I mean? Like, you can still harm yourself that way. And sometimes what we do is so opposing to nature, to what naturally occurs in plants and crops and things, that you're actually harming the plant or robbing it of its nutrients because you're doing something else that goes against what naturally occurs in the plant. You know what I mean? So it's just best to do it the right way. Start with a culture of doing things the right way, um, and not trying to quick fertilize and this and this and this and this and this and try to make the plant grow so fast. And I
Yes.
mean, like, let it do what it naturally does. Like,
I saw a post a couple of days ago, and it was saying that we need to move at nature's pace. And it makes me think about like how rapidly everything is moving in our world.
yeah.
TikTok has got us where we got an attention span of a couple of
Mhm.
seconds.
Yeah, like a
And so
bird.
everybody wants it now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I know that I struggle. I can only imagine that I didn't even grow up with this.
Yeah.
And for the children that are coming up, we've got to combat that so that we can it out and have some
Yeah.
harmony so that we can have some people when we're no longer here that will
Yeah.
still be trying to grow their own food and not think that we got to go buy it at a store.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the only way they're gonna know is we have to teach them.
Yeah.
And they're not. It's just not gonna fall out the sky. We have to
Right.
teach them.
Mm-hmm. Teach them how, teach them the benefits, teach them the pros and cons. Just teach them, compare it with other things to, like we have to really teach them, not just like show them like how to put things in the ground, but to teach them why, the benefits, like the culture of it, how, like we have to really, really teach our kids these things. And sometimes like I know people will say, well, gardening is not for me. And that may be true. Because at first, I'm not very patient. Like, I want things done. Like you said, instant gratification, I wanted things done. My husband said that too, that I want things done. So growing seeds was hard. So then I think that's why I got into the bees. Like, okay, oh, honey, okay. So then I realized, okay, if you got to plant a garden for them, they need stuff to pollinate together. I'm like, oh, okay, well, so sometimes, like, maybe putting stuff in the ground may not be your thing, whatever. There are other things about eating what you grow or producing that you can, there are other avenues. You can do beekeeping, you can do fish farming, or you can do vertical gardening, or you can do seedlings. Like some people only they start seeds for others and they sell them or whatever. There are so many things that you can do. Like you don't have to do everything because a farmer or a homesteader or a gardener says, well, this is how I do it, and this is, because some you might lose interest, or you might, whatever, it may not be for you. There are so many other things that you can do that's going to be beneficial, that's going to keep your interest, that's going to help nature, that's going to, produce your own food, or whatever. So don't feel like you have to be in a box and have to grow tomatoes and cucumbers, and you can do water garden. Listen, I just got into growing lotus flowers. That's something else. It's very different. It's not food, but it's pretty, and it helps the
They're
pollinators.
very pretty.
It helps the pollinators, so so.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, there are other things you can do, you know. So
I think there's a lot of different ways that we can find our place in the ecosystem of life, organically, like you were saying. Hey, okay, well, I'm bored. Let's do bees. But then the bees brought you right back to, hey, well, we need this garden. So definitely there's
right.
places and roles that we can play, but we're all connected.
Yeah,
And there's so many connections.
yeah,
So until we can start to simplify and find those basic connections, it's going to be difficult
yeah.
because people are like, well, hurry up. I don't have enough time for that. But
Right.
okay, hurry up. And then you look up and you haven't cultivated a little piece of knowledge, and simple knowledge, but a little piece
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge. I don't know about y'all, but if we're all of a sudden not necessarily out of food, but I feel like we're going to be like making life decisions. Do I want to buy this salad for dinner
Mm-hmm.
tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we going to eat oodles and noodles or something because
Yeah.
that is too much and I have a light bill? So I'm in California, so the gas prices had us making different decisions. Did we run out of gas? No, we had gas, but it was at a premium. Do you really want it? And it kind of made me feel like, never mind, I don't want to go anywhere anyway. I was going garden. It's fine. Nah. I'm gonna just hang out. It's fine. Yeah. So I don't think that we're necessarily going to be like, oh, we don't have any food, but we could,
Yeah.
because I didn't think we were gonna be locked down in our homes, but we were.
We were.
So we never know. But the time is to prepare now,
Yeah.
because if you find yourself in that situation, it's a little late.
Yeah. That's
You
true.
kind of
Then
behind.
you're reactive instead of being proactive. And now they're
Right.
talking
Now you're
about
trying to find me.
right, exactly. Now they're talking about this monkeypox thing that they're maybe having. So we may be going to another quarantine or whatever. Can you imagine? And then
Yes,
if people
I'm gonna
start
be
to
at
come,
home.
right, gardening, right? And if people
I'm
start,
gonna hit you up because I need to learn about the bees because that's what I want to do next.
there
Let
you
me some
go,
bees.
there you go, and you
Okay,
can
yeah,
teach me
I'm gonna be
some
at home.
things too. Yeah, that's it won't be a big deal for us. It'll be like,
No,
yeah, for them.
right.
But yeah, so if we ever have to go back to that, at least we know we can do stuff at home. We don't have to go to the grocery store. We don't have to, and if we have to, then we know to ration whatever we have, and if people start turning into zombies and then they come, zombies don't eat vegetables, so, like, you know, so, right. So, but this was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
My battery's
Good.
at like 3%.
Okay.
So, I could talk until it dies,
All
or I
right.
can say goodbye. It's up to you, whatever you want me to do.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, April. And I'll see you again. See you later, Dental. Bye,
All
chat.
right. You take
Thank
care.
you.
I appreciate you here.
Of
Enjoy
course.
the rest of the night.
Thank you. Have a good
Peace
one
and
yourself.
love. All
Bye bye.
right. All right. Yes, it's always a pleasure to talk about gardening and health and all these topics we hit tonight. I'm so excited because I have learned myself from you guys. I've been learning. I share information and I also gather information. So I'm really appreciate you guys coming on here tonight and share your stories and your information. I mean, April, your story is amazing too because sometimes being stubborn and knowing your body can save your life. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I would have had the knowledge prior to, but then also in your journey, sometimes some things are necessary because would I have the vigor and would I be so laser focused on what I'm doing if I didn't have the cancer motivator? Probably not.
Right.
I'm
Right.
very enthusiastic about what I'm doing, but I have a very near and dear motivator, and that I want to be as long as I possibly can for all my kids. So that that will have you like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and up today and get out there in that garden and make sure things happen. So that's what happens over here. But I feel like even without that motivator, you said the balance from into your garden, it pours into you just as much as you pouring into it.
True, true, true. That is true. The garden is a blessing. Is a to. I don't know for everyone, but like I said, I feel a certain way when I'm in the garden. I feel I could stay in the garden for hours, hours upon, even at dark. I could stay in the garden because don't care how dark it is, don't care how dark it is. There's some kind of light in the garden that you can see where you walk in. I don't know how, but it pitch dark. But in the garden, there's a light where you could naturally see where you put in your foot. So I know there's an energy that's in that place. And is we have to create that energy. I always tell people that you have to create that energy. You cannot go into your garden with the negative mindset and the evil mindset. Leave it outside. Even though you tell yourself you have are you mad with someone? Don't take it in there. Leave it outside. Don't take it in your garden because you have to have your garden as that special place. You cannot go in the street and find peace. All you're gonna hear vehicle running, people talking, but in that garden, you hear birds, you hear all little animal chopping, that's what you hear, and it uplifts me. it healed me. So that's how I feel in
Absolutely.
the garden.
Same. Absolutely.
Yes.
My roosters, and when the duck gets out into the roosters area, it's not as peaceful as I want it to be, but it works out. It works out.
You know what? You tell me something to the way how you protect the and listen me. That was amazing. How you protect the from the raised bed from the stuff you have coming out, and
Oh
how you
yeah,
protect it with the wire. That's
yeah. So
amazing.
I put a layer of hardware cloth on directly onto the dirt, and my raised garden bed over the top of that. And I'll take a layer of cardboard and put after the hardware cloth on the floor of the garden bed, and then I'll take some wood and branches that I find around my yard, and then I'll take leaves that are falling around the yard, especially in the front yard. I've got a tree that's always got leaves all on the, so I'll take old dried leaves, and then I'll do some straw and then some compost before I start getting all into the soil before I plant. So that's kind of how my raised garden bed. But I haven't had any disrespectful gophers getting through that hardware. It's working out.
That's
And
good. That's good.
it's plenty of other stuff around for them to eat. Yeah, so we still coexisting because I definitely feel like there's beneficial things that they're doing, just like you were mentioning. I'm not in any way trying to eradicate. They were here before
Mhm.
I was here. And they're aerating the ground. Like, I'm pretty sure if I got rid of them, avocado trees would not be thriving like they are.
Right.
But I just don't want them to eat all my vegetables.
I agree. I agree. I definitely agree. I truly appreciate you for coming here, and yes, I really do. Thank you so much for all that you share with me and share with the life tonight. I truly appreciate you. Do you have an Instagram or YouTube channel you want to mention? Maybe people can look you up. I mean,
Right. Yeah, you inspire me. We'll have a YouTube channel soon. I'm gonna have to consult with you on that. But I am on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram at simply Soto underscore homestead. And I pretty much document some of the goings on at our Simply Soto homestead, and where, basically I'm just trying to simplify things in life because there's so much hustle and bustle and fast pace, but a lot of that stuff we can simplify, and we're putting a lot of that stress on ourselves. So not only did I have to change my diet, but I had to change my mindset and change the things that I allowed in my personal space. So that's hence the name Simply Soto, was me and my efforts to simplify the things around me.
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Just keep do what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job. Just keep do what you're doing. Your story has touched a lot of people, believe me, because sometimes, honestly, sometimes you go to the doctor and we just listen to what the doctor say. We have no counteraction. Whatever the doctor say, that's it. Okay, that's it. Then he give you some pills and you run with it and you start sucking them down, having no idea of what's going on. So because of you questioning stuff and looking into stuff, I believe that is what help you to overcome. So blessing to you, blessing to you. God will appreciate people like you to
Absolutely.
share this story. Yes, yes.
I just had to ask myself the question, like, does this make sense? And who's paying you because you're at work? Who's really in charge? And the people that the pills and make them the chemotherapy, they're the ones that are paying you a hefty fee to tell me that's what I need to do. But
Mm.
I found it very conflicting when they weren't allowed to tell me to go and find natural remedies. That doesn't make sense.
Mm.
How can it be against your Hippocratic oath to tell me to find natural remedies? Mm-mm.
Wow. That's why we got to, we got to, like I always say, open minded. And living in the box can really mess you up by living in the box. Don't ask question. Just be in the belief and yes, 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 without questioning things can definitely put us in harm's way. So because of you decide, no, I'm gonna question and I'm gonna do things my way, you had overcome it. I have to give you thumbs up. I definitely got to give you thumbs up. We need more people like you, and we
I
need to
appreciate
hear it. And we need to hear from more people like you because it can really help us. Sometimes being a little
it.
stubborn
Makes
can
me
really
think.
and think,
It
yeah.
makes me think if we grew our own food and ate more of our own food and demanded that we have organic food readily available, and we did not accept all of this chemical ridden, pesticide ridden food, we would get it. And the price would come down because we, the consumers, are demanding it. But that's not what's happening. We actually did, how often would we be at the doctor's office? That's my question. Would we even be there? And I'm pretty sure most people know they wouldn't be there as often. Yeah, you would get sick, but I think you would be as sick as often. And then that's a problem for the doctor. And that's a problem for the pharmaceutical company. And they don't want a problem. They want
Right,
that's
right.
there's big money in you staying sick. It's big money in us being unhealthy.
Yep. Because when you get sick, you got to go to the hospital. Then the hospital recommend pills for you. Then you got to go to the pharmacy and get the pills, buy the pills. So yes, it's all about making that money. It's like a
Yeah.
trail.
Vicious cycle.
Mm-mm-mm.
No, thank you. I want
Somebody,
off the merry-go-round.
yeah, as Dan say in the chat, no money in the queue. Yeah, he right. Definitely no money in the queue. Once you get in queue, nobody getting paid. You're
Right.
sick, a lot of money
And
making.
that's what they're worried about.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I'm not
Hello,
worried
everyone in the
about
chat.
yacht
How you all
payment. I'm
doing?
worried about being. Hello.
Yeah, yes. So I really appreciate you tonight. I don't want to hold you no longer. I mean, it's up to you, but I don't want to hold you no longer. But if you want to speak, that's up to you. But I truly appreciate you joining me tonight and come
Oh,
and
well, I'm.
share your story. I definitely appreciate you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the platform.
Thank
Yes, I
you.
definitely. I'm up for speaking about being healthy and advocating for ourselves because we have to. We have to
Okay.
question, ask the question. And if people don't give you an answer that sits well with your soul, some ask more questions and go seek answers from a viable source. So I definitely encourage people to do that because it means our life and it's important.
Yep, that's true. That is
Yeah,
definitely
I
true.
wish that I would someone to show me.
Yes. We all
But yeah,
learn
I'll
every day.
call
We
you. So you got me out here spraying vinegar. Your did you have a gallon of water and 1 cup of vinegar?
yes, the measuring
That's what
cup.
I've been out there spraying. Yes, sir.
Yes.
That yes,
Yes,
exactly.
it
So
helps. It
that's what I've
really
been out.
helps. It really helps. It
And
really
then
helps.
now I'm not concerned about if harming the bees and messing up the ecosystem that's happening in my garden. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're
But that's
welcome.
important.
Definitely. At the end of the day, we need the birds, the butterfly. We need a lot of those insects that's even the ones sometimes that eat down our food, we need them sometimes. But we don't like them to eat down our food because if we allow them, we're not gonna get no food. But all these things plays a role in our garden. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
learned so much over the years. Over the years, I've learned so much. And even when I open up myself to new gardeners, because I grew up doing gardening a certain way, and I still do it up to today, and it's been very successful. But I also try new things from other people as well, just to see how it's gonna work. So if I see it works for me, then I'm gonna continue. If it don't work, then I'm gonna say, nah, I'm not gonna do that no more. I'm gonna just go my way. But it's
Right.
always good to learn something new, especially when it's working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Broaden your horizons on some things and make some connections with people. Absolutely. I enjoy making connections and learning and sharing my knowledge and learning from others. And it's important to me, but for us to see that connection, it makes it easier for us to have empathy and think about how we're connected to the other people. Because if you didn't talk to other gardeners, if you didn't share your knowledge, then it would just stop with you.
Right, right, exactly. And that honestly, that is why I create the YouTube channel as well. Because I don't just wanna keep it to myself.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, everybody grow their food different. Everybody grow their food. I say that. But the way I grow my food, I try to share it as well. So you could try. I'm not saying leave your way to do it my way, but you can try. Because when I tell people, when I talk about planting your plants deep, I know exactly why I'm saying that. Because you get a lot of benefit from planting your plants deep. Lots of benefit. It saves you from watering your plant a lot. Your plants get a lot of nutrition under that soil. In case it didn't rain, your plant can still survive for a certain amount of time once you plant them deep. So, and then just check this out, right? I have pepper trees right now over 6 feet, heading for 7 feet tall, over my head right now. If I did not plant these pepper deep, you know what would happen? The wind would have blown them out their root. Yeah, exactly. So you
Mhm.
see, is
Mhm.
this is why I believe everybody in this chat hear me talk about planting deep. There's a lot of benefit in planting deep. So we learn from each other. I learn from people, and I also realize I need to share what I know as well. Maybe it might help somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Give 'em permission to try something.
Yes. That's all it's about. Trying. I'm not telling you to give up your way. But as a gardener, you're supposed to do your own experiment. This is how you know. In the spring, I was talking about pepper tree taller than you. I was talking about growing pepper tree taller than you. Why I was saying that? Because I already know. It happen every year. Pepper tree, my pepper tree them grow taller than me every year. So I have learned ways how to make your pepper grow. So what I'm doing, I'm sharing. Is up to you if you wanna try, but you don't have to. You could still continue grow your pepper your way. But to me, as a person, when I plant, I'm expecting the plant to produce and last as long as possible. I don't want my pepper tree to produce 3 peppers and then just dry and die. I want it to bear until
Right.
that frost. So when that frost come and dry it out, okay, I understand. And my garden prove everything I said from the spring come right up. Now all I'm doing is harvesting. I'm not taking care of no plants right now, just harvesting. So it's wise to do. There's things you can do in the early stage of your
Mhm.
plants, and your plants will produce for a long period of time. And this ain't no joke.
Now, are your plants, are you planting them from seed, or are you starting out with seedlings that you're putting into the dirt when you're planting them really deep?
Yes, even though I plant, yes, from seedlings, but even whether I
Oh, okay.
plant them 5 inches deep, 5 inches tall, or I still plant them deep, it doesn't matter because I understand a pepper tree root need to be grounded in the soil. So in case the wind blow, it might only pop the limb. It not gonna break it out the root. And pepper need a lot of hot sun. Plant them deep and plant them in the sun, and you will get great result.
I have to go and see if the
So
gophers will
it's
let it
all
stay
up.
in the ground. I got a basil, and the ducks like to eat the basil. I have a basil bush that's almost 4 feet tall, that's been in the ground for 2 years. I'm very surprised because the gophers and the ducks let it survive. So
Oh
it's
wow.
thriving. Yeah, so nothing's knocking over that basil bush. It's crazy. But yeah, and maybe we could try pepper. I'm gonna slowly put stuff in the ground one by one. What the
Yeah, that's
gopher
how
will
you
let
do
me
it.
have.
You always, and I recommend in every plant you plant deep because everything I plant deep. Eggplant, even cabbage. if what anything I plant, I choke them deep because I understand the benefit of planting deep. There's a lot of benefit under the
Oh,
soil. You got to remember the sun penetrate the top of the surface, but it does not penetrate down under under the soil. So there's a lot of nutrition that dwells in those areas. So if the plant able to get these nutrition, it grow better.
right.
Yes.
Plenty of sense. And
Yes.
that's basically what it is. It makes sense. And when you're walking around and looking at nature and the way things are growing, the stuff that thrives is got deeply rooted. So that makes sense.
Definitely. Definitely. So I'm just sharing the information and the knowledge that I grew up from because I was blessed to be around farmers, carpenters, mason, plumbers. I
Oh,
was
no.
blessed to be around these people. And I have learned this trade. I have definitely learned this trade. Now I can do this trade. So I truly appreciate these guys. So now I'm just trying to help, sharing the information. I'm not telling anyone to grow food the way I grow food, but sometimes you could try something new. That's how I see it.
Well, if you're not ruffling any feathers, then you're not doing it right. You got some
Well,
people that got
you're surely right
it.
because not everybody really want to hear you talk about growing food the natural way. Because people trying to make money from their product, and you here talking about growing food the natural way, that's not, you know. But that's how I
Exactly.
know it. That's all I know. Growing it the natural way.
And
Okay.
if there's no
Some,
food at the store, they'll find you.
wait, someone asking a question. Angela Canvas Delight. She's a plant a garden. Can you ask her if she gonna start a YouTube channel so we can sub to her? All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna ask Denzel to help me figure it out. I'm gonna need some guidance.
All right. So she get in there. She says she's going to start one very soon. So I'm gonna keep you guys posted. But for now, she have an Instagram. So I guess by that time, she could promote her YouTube channel and Instagram so you can find her channel.
Right. I'm on Simply Soto underscore homestead on Instagram.
All right, let me take a time out to tell everybody thank you. Thanks everybody for joining here tonight. I appreciate you guys. Lascious Journey, the Virginia Growing Garden, New Art Gardening, my Renaissance Grandma, Angela Canvas, everybody who entered the live tonight, I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. If Dan, Cassinja South Fulton, everybody, peace, love, and blessing to you all. Thanks each and every one of you for being here. Yes, everyday life of an OCD chick. Thank each and every one of you. Yes, they're all gardeners. Almost every one of them is gardeners. And I think they all have YouTube channel that they push
Okay.
their, yeah, that they push they do their gardening as well. So we try to support each other,
Right. Share
and
the knowledge.
yes,
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
yes, yes. So I hope you guys enjoy this live tonight. Don't forget, guys, give this live a like. Don't forget to give it a like, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm definitely sure Simple Soto will be back here again.
Absolutely. I enjoy myself.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you
Any
for allowing me to be on your channel because I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to you again very soon so we can do this again because I do it every Wednesday.
Okay.
Every Wednesday. Or if you want to reach out to me, if you feel like coming on and share some information, some knowledge, you could reach out to me and we can always have a discussion.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely doing things differently in different parts of the world. We're dealing with different things. Like I can't wait to get some rain, but that hasn't happened in a good little while over here. So,
Oh,
it,
wow.
yeah, it was looking hazy today. I thought, "Oh, it's going to rain." No. No. So, yeah, it's definitely
Wow.
different
I
things
was
that have to
struggling with the
happen in different
rainfall.
parts.
Okay. Yeah, I was struggling with the rain for like 3 weeks straight. But after that, thing has changed and I've been getting rain on and off. And I'm so excited because the plants them and them is producing a lot of food right now. And the rain is making them push,
Right.
push out blossom real fast.
Right.
Today I was counting. I have a bell pepper tree. I have several pepper tree that's over 6 feet tall, and I was counting small peppers and them today. I count 27 peppers on one of those trees.
On
27
one tree?
peppers plus blossom
Oh,
on
wow.
one tree. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm soon I'll be doing another harvest. I'll be doing another harvest very soon.
Nice. That
Yes.
man, I wish. I'm gonna keep following you so I can figure out how to get that because you got the secrets down pat, and then I'm gonna just
Yeah,
have
because
to
everything
supplement where I don't have.
right. And you see like how you're not getting much rain, you should plant your plants them very deep as you can. Like how you're not getting much rain, yes, you need to plant them as deep as you can. Yeah, it's gonna save you a lot of water. Yes. Well, anyhow, I don't want to keep you too long, so we want to see. Oh, I want something. So thank you,
Okay. Yeah.
thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you, and just reach out to me whenever you feel like coming on the live. We here every Thursday.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll be back.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank you.
so yes, I'm gonna be ending it. We went over hour, so I'm gonna be ending it. No, I just gonna thank the all the supporters, and
All right.
then I'll be back next Thursday.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. Peace and
All
love.
right. Peace and love to you. All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this live tonight. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to reach out to people who have, message, a story to give us because that can uplift us, that can make us think, that can elevate us. Because if you think about April's story. I don't know if you guys hear her story, but it was, it's something to really look into. So I couldn't really be interacting with the chat as much as I should, guys. Sorry for that. But I truly appreciate you guys for coming by. And next week, I supposed to have another guest. This guest come from, well, she from the US, but she moved to the islands. So her story is also interesting. So I hope to see you guys next week. Peace, love, and blessing to you guys. Thanks. Let me try to see if I can thank everybody. My Remesen Garden, the Virginia Growing Garden, Angela Canvas, Black Tropical Homestead. Thank you for being here. Thanks everybody for being here. The Art Gardening, Angela Canvas, Delight, Lascious Journey. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope to see you guys next week. Peace, love, and blessing to all. Thank you guys.